Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the online sessions on MCC subject. So, in this class, we're going to discuss with unit number 2 with the Dunkin's model and a small scale fading. So, this Dunkin's model is basically a technique normally used to find out the amount of fading in the received signal when it is transmitted via a very big terrains. So this is what the Duncan's model normally this particular concept is suitable for the wireless, suitable in the context of the wireless communications. So all our MCC comes under the wireless communications. Therefore, the concepts involved in the wireless communications are become part of the MCC, are become part of this MCC in terms of communicating the signal from transmitter to the receiver. So here basically all the wireless communication systems are going to suffer from various unwanted effects of fading. So fading is normally going to be a practical aspect where one cannot really avoid the effects of fading. So which has to be compulsorily addressed. So one of the method called Duncan's model is normally used to find out the effect of fading at the receiver side. So therefore, the unwanted effects of fading which may be caused due to multi-path propagations. So here basically a transmitting antenna will be one, receiving antenna will be one. So the transmitting antenna after it radiates an EM wave, this EM wave is simply going to get experience many other paths due to multi-path propagation. In between the transmitter and receiver, if you imagine, we'll be having so many obstacles. So due to these obstacles, so many types of losses are normally going to get taken place. And at the last, what happens is the result is simply going to get faded by the time it receives the receiver. So therefore, the multipath propagation, fading is normally the result of multipath propagation. The signal is normally not received from a single path. The signal is getting received by multiple paths after many other reflections, refractions, diffractions, all these things. So therefore, fading is caused due to multipath propagation, path loss. There will be some attenuation in the path. So path loss, shadowing, Doppler spread, and co-channel interference. So here these three are the major problems due to which we normally going to encounter the fading in the wireless communication systems. So there are various signal propagation ranges in the wireless communication channels. So here signal propagations. Now we have many channels used here. Many channels are used to propagate the signals here. So here, therefore, the channel propagation ranges are normally going to be there many based on the communication channels available to us. So here the received power over a long distance or over distance due to path loss and shadowing is the major performance bottleneck here. So therefore, we have to deal with the path loss models. So therefore, path loss models, what it does now, the path loss models are going to describe the signal attenuation between the transmitter and the receiver. In the communication system, what are all things we are going to have? We are going to have a transmitter, we are going to have a receiver, and we are going to have a channel. So here the receiver is not going to receive the signal exactly or 100% what the transmitter has really transmitted. So in between what happens now? Path loss. Due to path loss, the signal at the receiver is not going to be 100% as it is like the signal which is at the transmitter. So that is path loss models has to describe the signal attenuation between transmitter and receiver antenna as a function of what? Propagation distance and other parameters which is caused by dissipation of power radiated by the transmitting antenna as well as the effects of the propagation channel. So the propagation channel and the radiated power by the transmitting antenna is normally going to influence the path loss also. So shadowing is basically caused by obstruction between the transmitter and receiver that attenuates the signal power through absorption, reflection, scattering, and diffraction. So these three are the optical communication techniques. In optical fiber communication, we are going to come across with reflections, scattering, and diffraction. So as the EM wave is considered as an optical wave which is being transmitted in the atmosphere free space, it is also going to follow the optic waves in the optical fiber. So therefore here the shadowing is caused by the obstructions between the transmitter and receiver that attenuate the signal, that attenuates the signal power through the various uh, processes, that is called absorption, reflection, scattering, and diffraction. Some of the signals which are being transmitted through a particular object are simply going to get absorbed by that particular object itself. And sometimes what happens, some objects are going to reflect the signal back to some other places, and some of them are normally going to get scattered. Some of the objects are going to scatter the input signal. Scattering means what? A one wave is going to get seen as multiple waves. Say when a white light falls on a prism, it is going to get scattered with many many light colors. So that's what called scattering. That particular thing is known as a scattering. So similarly, when a wave is going to get when a wave is going to get bombarded on a particular object or hits an object, it is going to get scattered. And diffraction means what? The signal is simply going to get move through this particular object. So a very important practical issue is to test. Now here what is so important is in antennas and wave propagation or MCC. Here in MCC we have to find out a best path for a signal to transmit. So in order to do that, what is that we have to do? We have to compulsorily practically test and validate the ability of the antenna array to meet the performance requirements. We have to test the antenna in the fading regions, okay, to validate that an antenna is really working as per the requirement. So for this purpose, a channel model is needed to take into account the temporal and the spatial characteristics of the radio propagation. Temporal means what? Time dependent characteristics. Spatial means what? Del operator dependent parameters. That is a spatial operator dependent parameters. So the main characteristics of wireless communication channel, not system, channel, are going to be the path loss, fading and shadowing, interference, and Doppler shift. Now what is most important is Dunkin's model is going to speak about the fading actually, is going to speak about the fading actually. So therefore our point of discussion is going to be more on the fading, of course. So therefore, so let us go in depth about other issues like path loss here. What is a path loss? Path loss is nothing, is expressed as a ratio of the transmitted power to the received power on a given path, is nothing but a path loss. So transmitted power PT by PR in a particular given path is known as the path loss. So if there is no path loss, what is the value of path loss factor now? It will be 1. If it is 1, there is no path loss. If it is not 1, if it is going to be definitely greater than 1, then definitely we say that there is a path loss. So it is a function of the propagation distance. Now why we normally go for path loss? So estimation of this path loss is very important for designing and deploying of the wireless communication networks. So wherever you have the path loss, there we don't deploy the system. Where we don't have the much path loss, there we deploy the base stations to receive the signals with more directivity and gain. And path loss depends on the factors such as what? Radio frequency used. Obviously, as the frequency is going to increase, it can penetrate or travel to a longer distances. And nature of the terrain, that is going to be an obstacle in between the transmitting antenna and the receiving antenna. So the free space propagation model is the simplest path loss model. Free space propagation means what? No obstacle. Is the simplest path loss model in which there is a direct path signal between transmitter and receiver. That is called line of sight propagation kind of thing, with no atmospheric attenuation or multipath components. So when the channel is totally free space without any terrains or any obstacles, then there is no question of any multipath components at the receiver side. That is the simplest model. So if you consider the simplest model, we can go with the equation called Friis transmission equation. So here in this model, the relationship between the transmitter power and receiver power is given by what? PR is equal to PT into GT GR lambda by 4 pi D whole square. So all these parameters already we discussed in the very beginning classes, where this PR is nothing but received power, PT is the transmitted power, GT is the transmitting antenna gain, GR is the receiving antenna gain. Lambda is nothing but wavelength of the signal. D is the distance between the transmitter and the receiver. So a two-way model is also called as a two-path model, is widely used path loss model. So this equation is going to be a single path. There is no two path. Now next possibility, next probability is going to be what? Two path. The receiving antenna is going to receive signals from two different paths. Even though the transmitter is only one, but it is received. The receiver is receiving from two paths. So usually the two-way model is also called as two-path model, is widely used path loss model. The free space model give a detail amount of above, assumes that there is only one single path from transmitter to the receiver. So it is a more ideal case. Free space case is going to be single path case, is nothing but free space case, which is a more ideal case. It is actually explains that signal reaches the receiver through multiple paths. So practically what happens is the signal reaches to the receiver through multiple paths, not a single path or two paths. But while analyzing the system, we first analyze system with no obstacles, single path system, single path signals, and next two path models, three path models, and so on up to n path models. So the two path model is going to be most primitive model among all this. So the two-path model struggles to capture this phenomena. The model assumes that the signal reaches the receiver through two paths, obviously. Now, when it is there, what are the two paths that we consider? One is going to be line of sight propagation, line of sight reception, and other path through which the reflected wave is received. Other path is going to be like, reflected wave is normally received. Is the two-path model we have. So under this condition, we can have the relationship between for the received power is going to be PT GR GT into HR HT by D square and whole square, where HT and HR are the different things in comparison to the Friis transmission equation, known as the height of the transmitter and height of the receiving antennas. Now next one is the radio propagation model. So here we have two types of propagation models, radio propagation models. One is outdoor propagation model, other one is going to be the indoor propagation model. Now what is this radio propagation model all about? It is an experimental mathematical formulation for the characterization of the radio wave propagation as a function of distance, frequency, and other environmental conditions. A general model is usually developed to anticipate the behavior of the propagation for all the ideal links under identical constraints. So here in this radio propagation model, why we normally go with such a model now? We have to anticipate what the behavior of the propagation. So in order to anticipate the behavior of propagation, we normally go with the radio propagation models. So here, what is the major thing which we look for now? Here to predict the path loss along the link or the effective coverage area of the transmitter. So to predict the path loss altogether here in this case of, in the case of the radio propagation model. So there are two models, outdoor propagation model, indoor propagation model. So the first one is outdoor propagation model. So here we are normally going to link this outdoor propagation model, which is a part of wireless communication, into MCC now. How? Because the signals coming out from the mobile station is normally going to use the free space called a radio transmission only. Same thing is with the reception. The receiving mobile is also going to receive signals through the radio medium only, radio reception only. So radio transmission is in a mobile communication system often takes place over irregular terrains. So here we will be having obstacles in between transmitter and the receiver in the case of the mobile communications. So irregular terrains means a major longer distances, longer place which we are going to have. That is the presence of trees, buildings and other obstacles must also taken into consideration. The number of propagation models are available to predict path loss over irregular terrains. So various outdoor path loss models are given as Longley-Rice model, Durkin's model, Okumura model, Hatta model, PCS extension to Hatta model and etc. We have in the syllabus only the Durkin's model and we discuss about this Durkin's model now. So finally, what we can say, this Durkin's model is normally going to be part of the wireless communication systems, where we go with this Durkin's model to find out the amount of fading in the received signal. Well, now this Dunkin's model will normally come under the outdoor propagation. Outdoor propagation is basically coming into the radio propagation model. Now, what do you mean by this radio propagation? The meaning of radio propagation model is that when the signal is transmitted from a transmitting antenna, until it receives, until it gets received at the receiver, whatever model you normally do for a signal to be received by the receiver very effectively and efficiently, that model is simply going to be called as a radio propagation model. So the radio waves are going to get transmitted in a unguided medium like a free space or an atmosphere. Now in the atmosphere, the signal is going to get deteriorated or signal is going to get lost due to various reasons. Now in this thing, we normally going to model the channel. That means we have to encode the channel. It comes under the channel encoding. So we have to predict the effectiveness or efficiency of the channel before we actually transmit the signal from the transmitting antenna. So before we transmit signal from transmitting antenna, we are normally going to perform the channel encoding. So this channel encoding techniques in the wireless medium is going to be, one part of that is going to be called as radio propagation model. So before we transmit a signal, we normally going to predict how the signal is simply going to get transmitted by using certain propagation models. They are known as outdoor propagation model and indoor propagation model. And this Durkin's model comes under the outdoor propagation model as we discussed. So now here this radio transmission in a mobile communication system comes under the wireless communications, because radio transmission means what? Wireless communication only. So mobile communication is normally performed via radio transmission medium. So therefore this particular MCC communication or propagation also comes under the wireless communications, and hence we'll be using the same concepts which are there in the wireless communications for propagating signal through a unguided medium. So in this particular case, what in this particular scenario, we treat radio transmission technique in the mobile communication systems. So we use those concepts once again here for a mobile communications as well. So therefore, only term we use here is the mobile communication. So some other time when you're dealing with the satellite communication, we say satellite communication. Some other time when we deal with the microwave signal transmissions, we deal with the microwave signal communication. So all of them are transmitted through radio waves only. So therefore, we are simply using the same term. Don't get confused with this radio communications. Radio communications is basically fully of the wireless communication techniques. It comes under the wireless communication techniques. MCC also a part of the wireless communication techniques. So therefore, similar kind of words or similar kind of terminologies will get repeated as we have used in the wireless communications, or as we will be using in the wireless communication systems. So therefore we are using here for outdoor propagation also this radio transmission. So what is outdoor propagation now? Radio transmission in a mobile communication system often takes place over irregular terrains. So practically what happens is the radio transmission in a mobile communication systems are not normally going to take place over the irregular terrains. So where this is going to be a very important or a performance bottleneck for the signal that will be received at the receiver because of the irregular terrains. So here we have to model the system to propagate the signal effectively until it get reached to the receiver. So that is what we'll be looking at here using the Dunkin's model. So using Dunkin's model, we are going to predict are the efficiency of the outdoor propagation for a mobile communication systems. So this is what basically Durkin's model is. So Durkin's model is normally going to uh, propose a better method for us to propagate outdoor propagation, to transmit signals through the outdoor propagation. Now here in the outdoor propagation, one more uh, possibility of obstacles is also going to be considered. What are they? The presence of trees in between transmitter and receiver, the presence of trees, buildings, and other obstacles must be taken into consideration in between the transmitter and the receiver. So, apart from irregular terrains, we have to consider the trees, buildings, and other obstacles taken into consideration. So a number of propagation models are also available to predict the path loss over irregular terrains. So many methods are there. Among these methods, we have Durkin's model, as we have spoken in the previous slides. Now, what is this Durkin's model now? This Durkin's model is going to provide a perspective into the nature of propagation. So it is going to give us some idea of the effectiveness of propagation over irregular terrains and losses caused by the obstacles in the radio path. So that means it's going to give us some idea about the strength of the signal which will be received by the receiver, irrespective of the irregular terrains and the obstacles in between the transmitter and the receiver. So the execution of this Duncan's path loss simulator consists of basically two parts. So first part and the second part. Now in the first part, what this Duncan's model is normally going to get performed. In the first part, the Duncan's model is normally going to access the topographical database of the proposed service area and reconstruct the ground profile information along with the radial distance joining the transmitter and the receiver. So it is normally going to cover the entire area of the region of communication between the transmitter and the receiver, separated by distance some d. So it covers it gathers the complete topographical database of the proposed service area, and it is normally going to modify, or it is normally going to reconstruct the ground profile information which is there to transmit the signal in a particular region of area. That is the first part. That means it first of all prepares the database, that is collects the data, and after collecting the data, it is normally going to keep the data before it is used to get transmitted. Then the second part, what it does in the second part of simulation algorithm calculates the expected path loss along the radial distances. Now, by keeping all the topographical database of the region of coverage area, then it is going to calculate the expected path loss between the transmitter and the receiver over the radial distances. Now, after calculating the path loss, the receiver simulated service location can be now. So here we'll be doing it. The receiver service locations can be iteratively moved to a different location in service area to increase the signal strength concept. So like this, the same steps, the same procedure, the calculation of expected path loss along the transmitter and receiver over radial distances will be calculated continuously, and the receiver is normally going to get changed its location iteratively, move to different location in the given service area to increase the signal strength concept. That means the signal strength has to be more in a many coverage areas, in a so many coverage areas. So that means the coverage area has to be increased. So in order to increase the coverage area, this particular experiment will be performed by this particular Durkin's model algorithm. So Durkin's model is normally going to perform two basic tasks. One is that it first of all gathers the entire topographical information of the coverage area between transmitter and receiver. Then after that, it is going to calculate the expected path loss along the radial distances. And after that, it is going to perform the same path loss calculations by iteratively changing the receiver locations. Okay. So after it gets all the information, then the system would be ready to transmit the actual information. Okay. That is, it will be ready to perform service to the end user. Okay. Now, similarly, the demerit of this model is that it cannot predict the effects due to foliage, buildings, and other human structures, and doesn't support multipath communications. It does not support multipath communications, and it really going to have some obstacles in the case of the large buildings and congregation of trees. Whenever you're going to have a lot many trees in between, there also they're going to have, you're going to normally experience some signal loss. It is not going to predict all of them. So moreover, it is going to cover most of the fading losses. Okay, it is going to cover the most of the fading losses, and it will predict the signal coverage in the prescribed region of communications. Okay, so the model produces much bigger errors in the microcellular situations. So whenever you're going to have a microcellular means what? Cell splitting. So cell splitting is done keeping in view of the microcellular kind of a system. So if you incorporate microcellular communication system, then in that case, this model is going to produce much bigger errors due to the interference problems. Okay, so this is what we have for this, and this system is normally going to give a mean output errors of about 3 dB with a standard deviation in the range of 4 to 8 dB. That means the gain value is going to vary between 4 to 8 dB. The standard deviation means what? The amount of deviation of the gain with respect to the reference value is going to be around 4 to 8 dB, and it is normally going to produce errors up to 3 dB. So however, the performance degrades as the rooftop height reaches the height of the receiving antenna. So the rooftop height should not be in a should not reach to the height of the antenna basically. So the rooftop height should be very less than the receiving antenna height. That is, HP would be very less than the HR. So rooftop means what? The obstacle rooftop height should not be really more greater than the height of the receiving antenna. So if it is really more, then obstacle is going to increase, and thereby we normally going to get the losses. So under this rooftop height very less than HR, we normally going to get the satisfactory results from this particular Dunkin's model. The next concept is going to be indoor propagation models. These indoor propagation models are also going to provide an alternative into the nature of propagation over the irregular terrains. So one model is Dunkin's model, alternative model is indoor propagation model. So, and the losses occur due to the obstacles in the radio path. So there will be some obstacles in the radio path, atmospheric obstacles in the radio path like rain, heavy wind, all these things are obstacles in the radio path. And so clouds, cloudy area, all these things are obstacles. So the disadvantage of this model is that, once again, same disadvantage, it cannot really assume propagation effects due to the foliage, buildings, and other man-made structures. Then more or less all these methods or models are simply going to reduce the fading effects. They are going to reduce the fading effects. So here fading mentions the fluctuations in the strength of the signal when the signal is received at the receiver. So what do you mean by fading? Fading is nothing but fluctuations in the strength of the signal when the signal is received by at the receiver side. So strength of the signal is received in terms of what? Amplitude, phase, and the delay. Three things will be there at the receiver. So here fluctuations in either one of these three going to be called as a fading for us. So fading can be classified into two: fast fading and slow fading. Fast fading can also be called as a small scale fading. Slow fading can also be called as a large scale fading. In the syllabus, we have the small scale fading. We don't have the large scale fading. So what is this fast fade? Fast scale, small scale fading or a fast fading refers to the swift fluctuations in the amplitude, phase, or multipath delays of the received signal due to the interference between the multiple versions of the same transmitted signal arriving at the receiver at slightly different time intervals. Now, due to the many reflections, refractions, and other problems by the obstacles in between transmitter and receiver, the receiver is going to receive, apart from the transmitted signal through line of sight propagation, it receives many other signals due to the interference between the multiple version. That means receiver is going to receive multiple versions of the transmitted copy. That means redundancy, duplicate copies the receiver is going to receive. So many copies receiver is going to receive here in this particular kind of a fast fading technique. Now here, this fast fading can be found out by which method? The time between the reception of first version of signal and the last echoed signal can be expressed as a delay spread. So receiver is going to receive first version of signal. So transmitter is going to transmit only once, receiver is going to receive the same signal many times. So in that particular thing, it is normally going to find out the time gap between the first received signal and the last echoed signal, expressed as the delay spread. So based on this particular time gap, it is going to figure out about the amount of fading which is normally going to happen at the receiver side. So types of this small scale fading. The multipath propagation of a transmitted signal which causes fast fading is because of the three propagation mechanisms. Name as what? Why the multipath signals are going to get received by the receiver? Due to the reflection, diffraction and scattering. Due to these three effects, this is normally going to get appeared. So the small scale fading is going to get appeared because of these three basic fading effects. So the multiple signal paths may sometimes, now what is the problem at the receiver side? So these multiple signal paths due to reflection, diffraction and scattering may sometimes add constructively and may sometimes add destructively at the receiver, causing a variation in the received signal's power level. So here, if it adds constructively, then it is good for us. If it adds destructively, then we normally going to lose the actual signal part in the received signal. So therefore, this has to be compulsorily addressed by the receiver only. So the received single envelope of a fast fading signal needs to follow a Rayleigh distribution to see if there is no line of sight path between the transmitter and receiver. So the receiver is going to solve this problem by incorporating the Rayleigh distribution principle. So it normally considers the signal going to come at a Rayleigh distribution fashion, so which will be encoded at the receiver side. So along this Rayleigh distributed path, the transmitter is normally going to do the channel coding, and the transmitter is going to embed the more amount of signal along the Rayleigh distribution, and the receiver is going to receive the Rayleigh distributed signal. The signal which is more close to Rayleigh distributed, it considers it to be the actual signal, and all rest of the other distributions are simply going to get rejected by the receiver to receive the actual signal. So using this Rayleigh distribution technique, we normally going to try to reduce fading at the receiver in the small scale fading methods. So with this, we complete the Durkin's model outdoor propagation and indoor propagation. Thank you very much for the today's session.